Hey guys, Tim Dory here. This is my PLC data process that I'm kind of hoping to implement it actually this coming school year as the PLC lead within my building. So just kind of going through it, it's got two parts. If you look over on the far right hand side, kind of our top stuff here is planning, and then down here is our analysis and reflection sides of it. But just kind of go through, and each one, there's 5 different questions kind of as we go through and we start working. First of all, what do we want our students to know and what do we want them to be able to do? Second, how will we know if the students have reached those different targets? So those things that we're kind of focusing on in our lesson planning and in our collaborative work, how are we going to know that they have gotten to that point that we want them to? Question 3, what issues do we anticipate? Just kind of basing that on our data, basing that on just kind of trying to be ready for all those unforeseen circumstances and kind of having a plan in place. And then in the reflection and analysis, what common themes are we noticing in the data? That's going to be kind of twofold. It's going to be the assessment data and the demographic data and things like that, as well as how that data is applying to our class and how our classroom data and our classroom documents are, what's it looking like in those. And then our last question, what are examples from the data that show the growth towards meeting the standards? That's our ultimate goal, is that we want to base our data analysis, base our instruction and everything. It's all geared towards meeting those standards and providing growth for our students. Now, kind of going back into this a little bit more in depth, our first question, that's where we're going to be targeting those standards. What are we looking for? What are we trying to hit? So we're going to be reviewing the data. It's where we're going to go through and look at demographic data. We're going to look at our assessment data and things like that to know what skills are lacking. What are our strengths? What are our weaknesses? And kind of what are we going to do based on that? And that's that step 4 is there to kind of guide that decision-making process. Like, don't just sit around and oh, woe is me about the data. Make sure we're making plans and making decisions based on the data and what are those, making sure that we're listing out what those plans are going to be. Our stuff on question 2, that's where we're going to get it more into our specific lesson plans or unit plans, what have you, about what are we focusing on, formative assessments, summative assessments. What kind of data are we going to be looking for on the back end of this? Is it going to be a Kahoot? Is it going to be Google Forms? Is it going to be essays that kids are writing? What is our data set going to look like once this is over? And then different ideas that we might use to stretch the kids' thinking if they're really knocking it out of the park, or something that we might know that is really difficult for our kids. How are we going to anticipate that reteaching of it if it needs to happen? Question 3, we're looking at anticipated issues, planning to overcome those issues, as well as what support is needed from admin and peers. I'm adding that in there, and I think that's important because that should help to guide our PD to, hopefully we will have administrator present and kind of taking that as the feedback. That's the feedback kind of to the building, where we're looking at what do we need in terms of support for our teachers to be successful for our kids. And then if you look down all across the data, the reason I chose to do this in sheets is because it's a easy thing for everybody to input their data. They can all share this workbook, and everybody's kind of got their teacher one data, whatever, down across the bottom. Then those are going to be our building stuff. There's the demographic data, perceptions data, and assessment data, where we would correlate that as a building and disseminate that out to the different PLCs. So hopefully gave you guys a couple ideas. Hopefully we're all kind of moving forward in this idea of PLCs and working through data. I think it's very important, and I really hope this will help to kind of guide some of the questions in the decision-making process, especially for my own building, because like I said, I plan on using this. So hopefully it helped you out a little bit. Thanks for watching.